It's not about how much you trust. It's about who you trust. That's the truth the world doesn't want you to know. Because we live in a generation obsessed with control, a world that tells you to believe in yourself, manifest your destiny, trust your gut. But your gut can lie, your heart can be deceived, and your mind can be clouded by fear, pride, or pain. So the question is not how much you trust, but who you're placing that trust in. Some trust in money, but money has no loyalty. It comes and goes like the wind. Some trust in people, but even the best people can fall. Even the kindest hearts can change. Even those closest to you can hurt you. Some trust in governments, institutions, titles. But what happens when the system breaks? What happens when the people in power don't protect you? What happens when your safety net snaps? Where is your foundation? Matthew 7:24 says, "The wise man built his house on the rock." Jesus didn't say storms wouldn't come. He said that if your trust is in him, you will stand. That's why you can't measure faith by its size. It's not the size of your belief that moves mountains. It's the source of your belief. Jesus said in Matthew 17:20, "If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." That verse isn't about quantity. It's about connection. It's about alignment. It's about trust in the one who cannot fail. Think about Abraham. God told him to leave everything familiar, his home, his country, his family, and go to a land he'd never seen. He didn't have the map. He didn't know the destination. All he had was a word from God, and he went. That wasn't a leap of logic. That was a step of trust. Now think about Moses. God told him to face Pharaoh, the most powerful man on earth at the time, with no army, no weapons, just a shepherd's staff and the name of the Lord. And when Moses obeyed, the sea split, the sky opened, plagues came down, and an entire nation walked into freedom. Not because Moses trusted in himself, but because he trusted the one true God. Some of you are waiting for more faith. You keep saying, "If I just believed more, maybe God would move. If I was stronger, more spiritual, more consistent." But God is not waiting on your perfection. He's asking for your surrender. You don't need big faith, you need true faith. Faith that says, "I don't understand, but I still trust you. God, I'm scared, but I still follow. God, I have nothing left, but you are still enough." Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Chariots represent military strength. Horses represent worldly advantage. But David says, "I don't trust what others do. My trust is not in what man can offer. My trust is in the God who never fails." This is the difference. You can trust the systems of men and be crushed when they fall. Or you can trust the God of heaven and stand when everything else collapses. The disciples were terrified in the boat. The winds were howling. The waves were crashing. They thought they were going to die. But Jesus stood up and said, "Peace, be still." And suddenly, everything changed. That's the God you serve. That's the one you can trust. You might be in a storm right now. Your finances may be collapsing. Your relationships may be breaking. Your mind may be exhausted. But I need you to hear this. Your trust is not wasted. Your prayers are not empty. Your faith, even if it's small, is powerful when it's in the right hands. God is not asking for your strength. He's asking for your trust. Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord God is an everlasting rock. Not temporary, not seasonal, everlasting. So let the world do what it wants. Let others put their trust in what fades. But as for you, put your trust in the one who formed the heavens, the one who conquered death, the one who holds your soul in his hand. You don't need perfect trust. You don't need flawless faith. You just need a mustard seed placed in the hands of the Almighty. Because it's not about how much you trust, it's about who you trust. And when your trust is in Jesus, even the mountains must move. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. So put your trust in the one who cannot fail, and you will see wonders in your life.